Hey, all viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist, and welcome back to another little Minecraft video here on the channel. So, last time, me and Phil's joining me via Skype, might as well say hello there, yeah. So, last time, me and Phil, we did a sort of, well, the start of I nearly said a server tour, I mean a map tour, rather, of an old map that's been in my Minecraft for a number of years. A map which, back in the day, when me and Phil were part of a shared channel, we were going to do like a storyline adventure series, and yes, indeed. And so yeah, I mean, in the last video, of course, we sort of outlined the basics of what the storyline of that series was going to be, and we started showcasing what I had built originally of the old London map. Well, we're continuing the map tour in this episode basically we're going to continue by going to the next sort of big section of the map that I built. So, like I said, I showcased the London area last time in this episode.
We did the London,
we're
and
going
then
to showcase
the ship and the underground section. Yeah.
So we're on the Aeon Avenger ship here that I built in the London section. So what I'm about to show you next is what was going to be the sort of the dimension where the villains reside, so the diesel dimension, which I was using the end for. So as you can see, we've got this end portal here on the ship.
Yes.
So without further ado, we're going to throw ourselves in there, and hopefully this remains the same as it was when I originally built it, because I haven't actually been into this dimension in years. So we'll see
and
how
there's
it
been
is.
loads of new updates as well. So that's what the updates are affecting things.
Indeed.
What you got to achieve though.
Made the advancement at the end. Oh god. Oh, bats or whatever they were just then, or something was there.
Okay.
Oh, the terrain has not yet generated in. I'm sure it'll
It has,
appear in a second. Yeah, sometimes that happens with Minecraft. Sometimes it takes a moment for the terrain to actually appear. Then again, I am in creative mode, so maybe I could. Oh god, I hope this section of the map hasn't corrupted and hasn't just disappeared. But yeah, oh, there we go. Yeah, all right, there we go. I just need to go into flight mode. Okay, so welcome to what was going to be called the Diesel Dimension, ladies and gentlemen, which is basically where the villain and all his bad guys essentially resided, and where they take London to.
So yeah, you can see bits of London here, which have been taken through
into another dimension. So you can see we've got Portcullis House here, and it's got like this very sort of grey, sort of asteroidy, spacey design. We've got obviously Houses of Parliament and the Elizabeth Tower over here, Big Ben and all that.
He's gone and he's only gone and done it. He's only gone and stolen.
I know.
London.
Yeah. It's funny though, because as you can see, the rooftops here are all made of wool, as are some of these buildings themselves. Because obviously, as I said in the previous episode, when I first started building this map, it was back in 2012-ish, 2011-ish, round about there, which of course was before concrete was a thing in the game. So yeah, all these buildings in here.
That's why you'll only have wool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones that we saw in the last episode, obviously I updated to concrete in more recent years. But yeah, so this was the Diesel Dimension, and the idea was that at the start of the adventure, London would get warped through into this dimension stone, and we would get sucked along with it into here. And that's where we would meet the good guys, the Aeon Avengers and all that. Now I'm sure people's attention is immediately drawn to this big spaceship over here, this big submarine-like spaceship.
Yes, and this is Duke Diesel's ship himself.
So as you can see, it's got like these these big like turret and cannon designs going along here, where I use redstone blocks. This thing over here, which is the sort of this ring-shaped structure. So this was I think, if I remember correctly, this was going to be what was going to be called the Temporal Trap, which was the device used to bring London into this dimension. We'll explain the story as we sort of go along, but we'll fly around. We'll just sort of, explore what there is in this area, and something actually which we didn't really explain, Phil, in the last episode. We obviously we mentioned
there's something we didn't explain.
Yeah, there is something.
How could we?
Indeed. So
Despicable.
we mentioned, of course, And the fact that, there's the good guys, the Aeon Avengers, in the, who we meet up and we befriend and we become part of. But I don't think we actually explained who each character within that group was, because we did actually have sort of, ideas of who each character would be.
Yeah. Oh,
Indeed,
yes. Yeah.
we did.
There's some interesting characters.
Yeah. So, as I'm sort of flying through here, just giving you a kind of view of this big enemy spaceship. I'll explain some of the character profiles that we sort of developed for the Aeon Avengers. So, in the original design, there were only 5 of them, but we did later add on a 6th one. And I can sort of still remember them fairly well. And so, the Aeon Avengers, basically the way their kind of group works, there were the 6 main Aeon Avenger characters who would be sort of like the regular supporting cast who would be alongside us as we go on our adventure. But with each sort of time period that we went to, there would also be Aeon Avenger agents within each time period.
I remember. Yeah, that's coming back to me now.
Yeah,
we'd have agents in each sort of location that we'd visit in time.
And I'll tell you more about them as we get to the 2 sort of time periods that I did start construction of on this map. But so like I said, there will be Aeon Avenger agents in each time period, but there were also then the sort of main 6 Aeon Avenger characters who would be a regular presence throughout the series. And so basically each of these characters was as follows. So you had the Aeon Avenger kind of commander or team leader, and his name, from what I remember, was going to be Captain Roger.
Captain Roger.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember what his backstory was going to be, Phil. Do you remember, or is it was it so long ago that you can't really?
Yeah, that's really pushing the limits of my knowledge.
Yeah. So Captain Roger, his kind of backstory was that he was going to originally be like a World War I flying ace, who I think the story was he got pulled into an interdimensional dogfight, and that's how he joined the Aeon Avengers and ultimately rose up to become their kind of leader, their commander, as it were. So there was him. He was the team leader.
Yeah, it was.
Then the next character who was part of the group was going to be called Billy Brawn. Do you remember that one, Phil, by any chance?
I do. Well, not the backstory. I've completely forgotten the backstory of all of them, to be quite honest.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll just sort of explain each
if you just go through, because I mean, it's your map and your everything.
So Billy Brawn was, I think,
just
kind
here
of
to provide side comments.
Billy Brawn was the second Aeon Avenger character, and I think he was supposed to be something like the group's kind of radio man or communications person or something like that. And his backstory was that he'd been like a sailor in World War II, who. So this is where there's a bit of a more complex backstory. So if you know anything about conspiracy theories, you'll know there's a conspiracy theory called the Philadelphia experiment, which supposedly was about a US government experiment where they developed a teleporting battleship, something like that. And the backstory was that Billy Brawn was part of that experiment, but in the experiment he got teleported away elsewhere, and thus ended up coming across the Aeon Avengers, something like that. Yeah.
And there's the Aeon Avengers ship actually right there.
Yeah, right there. We'll be on that in a second, because we need to go on to it in a second. That was Billy Brawn's kind of backstory. Then there was another Aeon Avenger, the third one, called Bjorn Carl Blue Fury, I think his name was going to be.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he was going to be like a Viking who had joined the Aeon Avengers after he discovered like a temporal rift in space-time or something, and had stepped through it only to find him. He stepped through it because he thought it was like a bridge to Asgard or something like that, only to discover it was actually just an interdimensional portal. So that was his kind of backstory. And I remember he was going to be like the sort of surly, grumpy character within the group.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember Captain Roger was going to be like sort of sophisticated and very well spoken and a generally very likable character. Billy Brawn was going to be more sort of like humorous, a bit of like a womanizer type character, and then Bjorn Carl was going to be like the cynical, grumpy one.
Yeah.
Then the next one I remember devising for the Aeon Avengers was a character called Jilted Sally.
Jilted Sally, yes. That's it. It's bringing some memories back to me now. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, her backstory was that she was from the future. She was like a space pirate who had turned basically good after she joined the Avengers. Her backstory was something like she became a space pirate after she was basically jilted by her lover, something like that. I can't remember the exact details, but her character, she was going to be slightly sort of she was going to be a bit more of a psycho character, a little bit, but
That's it, yeah.
yeah. So there was that. Then there was a character called Salty, who was this one was an interesting one. Salty was going to be a character who was one of the last descendants of Atlantis, and he was going to be like kind of like a fish man. And the idea was he would not be able to speak any English.
I remember that. We devised like our own sort of language, our own sort of alphabet, and as well language for him.
Yeah, I remember one of our sort of team members who we had working on the project alongside us. I can't remember who it was specifically. Actually, did develop a sort of alphabet for a kind of Atlantean language. But that was his backstory, and the idea was that Salty would kind of be like a bit of a pyromaniac / TNT lover. Something like that. So that was the original 5 base Aeon Avenger characters who I devised initially. But then I think it was because when we were in discussions with our little team of other players who originally were going to help us out with the project, we ended up adding a 6th one, and this one was kind of an interesting one. So the 6th member of the Aeon Avengers was going to be called something like Margaret Chan, something like that, and I sort of vaguely remember the idea was Margaret Chan was going to be like a sort of teenage girl / young woman who...
That was it, yeah. Oh, God,
who was basically a complete weeb. That's what it was going to be. Her character was that she wasn't Japanese, but she calls herself Margaret Chan. Her actual name is something like Margaret Smith, but she calls herself something like Margaret Chan or Margot Chan or something like that.
Yeah.
And the idea was her kind of character model would be like a girl in like a proper like sailor school uniform, but she would be, I can't remember what her role was going to be within the group. I think she might have been something like, I don't know, medic or something, I can't remember. But the idea was she would be a slightly ditzy, very energetic kind of character. And yeah, her backstory was that somehow she had discovered the Aeon Avengers and she'd basically driven them mad, asking them to basically become an intern, until eventually they had relented and just said, you know what, you can be an intern in our group.
Yeah, I can't remember that. I don't know why we added that, but that was, I think it was just a crazy little moment between us all, but we thought it'd be funny.
Indeed. So yeah, she was going to be a character, and that reminds me I should also add, the other characters as well. Obviously, Captain Roger was the team leader, Billy Braun was going to be like the communication / radio person. Bjorn Carl, I think, was going to be like the heavy weapons dude, something like that. Jilted Sally, I think, was going to be like a sniper or something along those lines. And Salty was like the demolitions dude, so hence his pyromania and love of TNT. So, yeah, that was the roles for each member of the group, if I'm remembering correctly. So, yeah, that's the base 3 members of the group. The base 6 members of the group, even.
I've forgotten the because obviously everyone in London got sucked up into this interdimensional portal.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the reason why the Aeon Avengers went with us.
I think it's just because we maybe encountered them or they saved us from an attack from Duke Diesel's forces, and so as a result we just sort of got taken with them and ended up kind of going along with them. Yeah, I think that's kind of the story, at least from what I vaguely remember, as it was supposed to play out. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this button, which should teleport me onto the ship there, and then from there I think there should be a teleporter that takes us into the Aeon, into the big Diesel guard ship that we saw back there. Yeah. Right, so yeah, we're back on. It says these teleportation units are active, so these ones should be the ones we need. Oh no, that just took us back down here. Hang on, one of these units should take it. Aha, here we are. Right, okay. We're inside the big Diesel guard ship, so we're in the big sort of front section up here.
Duke Diesel ship.
Yeah, these kind of forward bow-facing laser cannons, or whatever they are. Or whatever they were supposed to be, yeah, indeed. Oh god, I just accidentally went to that command block. Man, I remember this this ship is another thing that I'm very proud of, because it was such a great design and I really liked it when I built it. So it's got obviously several levels to it, so like you can sort of go up here
big ship. Yeah,
onto this kind of section. Then it takes you out there, and then you got like a little walkway over here.
Interesting villain.
He was, yeah. Indeed. And then like you can go further up, And then like you're just kind of top level up here where you got access to the
I think
upper gun deck.
what was going to happen is once we went to all the 10 time zones, which we did, because obviously we did 10.
Yeah.
Once we finally had all the pieces, I think there was going to be a final big battle against him, wasn't there?
There was, yeah. I think our plan was like I think in the final battle, Duke Diesel was going to be in some kind of like giant mech form or something, something like that. I seem to vaguely recall that might have been the plan, but that was still, you know, just a vague idea that we had in mind, and we never kind of got around to actually building any of that, because of course that was still going to be quite far away. That would be towards the end of the series. So yeah, we're sort of on the upper gun deck where it had the access to the kind of bow turrets and things like that. Like you go through here. What was this? Oh, this is like stairways down to lower levels. It's like the upper.
I think we had a design as well for each character, didn't we?
Yes, I think we might have done. I'll have to go back through and see if I still have the old sort of character skins or anything.
Yeah.
If we had anything in that regard. All right, this is the tactics chamber here. They've got this little conference table. What was further up? Oh, this must have been the bridge, right? Yeah, the bridge of the... oh, yeah, command evacuation teleporters. Oh, yeah, 'cause I think what it was is, in the initial stages of the story, after London gets sucked up in here, we and the Aeon Avengers would come onto this ship using a teleporter.
Yeah.
And we would basically take over the ship, but Duke Diesel would basically escape using one of these teleporters, and so thus he would scatter the control keys for the device keeping London in this dimension throughout time. That was the story. So then we'd go on the big time-travelling adventure. That was it, wasn't it? I think, yeah. Because we've got the teleporters there, so he uses one of them to escape. So then we go down off the bridge and the tactics chamber. Oh, what's through here? What was this? Oh, communications. Okay, so they got like a communications room over here. Oh man, yeah. So as you can see, like, yeah, this ship basically had a very like submarine design to it in its general shape.
So what we really have to tell viewers to realise there's not going to be all the latest features that Minecraft has, because this was built way back before we had all the various stuff. Yeah,
this was built way back. So you know there will be. Hence why actually this whole ship is actually built out of wool, because of course you know I needed coloured blocks to give this ship like a really sort of battleship grey kind of colour. But yeah, obviously if I'd been building this in more recent times, I would have probably built it out of concrete instead, so it's not built out of wool, because concrete looks better. Where was this now? We're sort of coming towards the, I think, the rear of the ship here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it takes us down onto this sort of deck over here. What's this? Stasis sector. I think these were meant to be like stasis pods where Diesel Guard troops would be sort of waiting, and they would like bust out. Yeah, they would bust out of their pods to attack us.
Hello, I'm Diesel Guard. I'm going to attack you.
Yes.
I don't even know where we came up with the names. We just some good thinking, creative thinking.
Indeed. I think I was the one who probably came up with the names. I think. And probably it was just like, I don't know, I probably just had
were you Mr. Modest?
Yes, Mr. Modest, that's me, all right, yeah. Like this observation
I was
deck.
the one who came up with the name, so I was the best.
Yes, I was the important one, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what all these levers and buttons are about. I guess it's just supposed to be like a control panel or something. What's this here? Oh, this is like a... teleportation chamber. Okay, so they've got like teleporters and things down here, which is where their troops could teleport in and out and whatever.
It is a shame that we never actually got around to properly making
it is a shame.
Just all got caught up.
Indeed. Oh, lower gun decks around here. Okay.
Real life stuff.
Yeah, and there's a turret
Certainly
down
gets there. Does real life stuff.
It does. But what can you do, eh? Right, I need to find my way towards where the temporal trap control chamber.
If we started it a bit earlier before we did started our undergrad, we might have actually.
Yeah, we could have actually got further with it. Indeed. Is this the? Oh, we've come back to the front of the ship again. What am I doing? I've gone the wrong way. Hang on, I need to find the access to the temporal trap control thing, so then we can get through. I think it's probably further back this way.
So you can just have a look at it.
Yeah, if I look down, I should be able to see it beneath us as we're going along. What's the, oh, it's an adjoining area. It might have been
That's
down here. So if we go through the power plant,
Right.
is it
So
down here? Let's have a look. Aha, this. Yes,
it is a very villainy ship, isn't it? Because
it
it's got
is.
that black grey.
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
indeed, with the splashes of red colour to
Yeah.
make it a bit sort of interesting. Okay, so yeah, this was the temporal trap control chamber. So as you can see, there's the big ring structure directly below us. So, like I said, the ring structure is the temporal trap, the device that was used to kind of bring London into this dimension. And the idea is that I think if I count these correctly, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 10 levers. So these levers would basically be the activation keys for the temporal trap. And the idea is that when ourselves and the Aeon Avengers come onto this ship and basically take out all the Diesel guards, Duke Diesel would basically take these keys and scatter them across history in an effort to
And
prevent
that's where
us
the
from
adventure
using the
would
machine.
properly start.
Yeah, so that's where the adventure would begin, like Phil says. So, yeah, that's the temporal trap room. So the storyline would be we have to go from time period to time period, finding each of these keys, and of course each time period would be sort of unique and different. There would be unique characters within it, all kinds of stuff for us to, all kinds of adventures for us to go on. But yeah, so hang on, if I keep sort of going back towards the rear of the ship, is there any more to look at? Maybe like an engine room or something? Let's have a look. I feel like there probably should be somewhere.
Very impressive, though, mate.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
I know. And this, of course, is just years ago, back in the day.
I know. What do you mean? I know. Bloody hell, the modesty of this.
Well, I do still sometimes come back to Minecraft and do just random building on various maps because I really love Minecraft Creative Mode, and I'd wager
Great.
in
Yeah.
all the years since I built this map, I imagine my building skills probably have gone up or improved a bit further. So I'm probably
Minecraft's just
doing
that
better.
platform where people have built crazy stuff, especially that one time where there's the 16-bit computer.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
my
was quite
goodness
something,
me.
wasn't it? Indeed. I guess this is just the rear of the ship over here. Oh yeah, because there's like the big engines.
Yeah, so we've done
Yeah.
the big loop through the whole of the ship there now.
Yeah. And there's just like another
Fantastic news.
stasis chamber thing in here. Okay. I'm just trying to check though. Was there not? I'm just checking in case there was like a dedicated engine room somewhere, but I don't remember whether there was or not. There's a couple of doors over here. Where did these go? Where does this go up here? Oh, it just takes you up to the upper gun
Viewing
deck.
bay.
I see. Yeah. Okay, so that's the that's the ship over here. I'm just trying to remember. There's probably a teleporter down below that takes you back to the Aeon ship. Because that's the thing. The way I think I designed this, I designed it with like a lot of areas. Oh, dimensional shifting. Oh, this probably takes you back to. Oh yeah, this probably takes you back then to London through here because they've got like the dimensional shifting chamber, to put it that way. Is this dimensional shifting access, shifting control beta? Oh, it's like little control rooms along the sides. I see. Yeah, so if we jump through here, it should take us back to London because that's I think pretty much everything that there is that I built in this dimension. Right, so let me just jump back through here. Oh god, it's like the bloody credit sequence. Oh, there we go, joining world.
And there we go.
We are, oh god, we're at one end of the bloody River Thames here, I think, or what I built of it anyway. Hang on, let me just fly back to where we're supposed to be. Aha,
So
there's
the diesel dimension.
Yeah, now what I'm just going to do is I'm going to fly off in this direction and I'm going to just get us to the start of the first of the time periods before we wrap up.
Let's save that for next time.
Okay, I was just thinking about giving a preview, that's all. Just like a very quick glimpse, but not actually showcasing any of it.
We can expand it out then, so then we can do the next time zone in the next episode.
True.
The next one in the next episode after
Yeah,
that.
that's a good point.
It gives our viewers a bit of exciting time to see what we've done.
Yeah. Well, in that case, actually, yeah, we'll wrap up here, and what I'll say is next episode we'll go to the first time period, and I'll show you that. So stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen, because it should be very, very interesting.
Enjoyed, yeah, I think I'm looking to this. And the first episode as well.
So a bit of a shorter episode this time than the first one, but that's to be expected because the diesel dimension compared to what I built of London is comparatively small. So I'm just going to get myself in this corner over here because that's where the path to the first time period is actually located. So yeah, hope you'll join us for that because it'll be very interesting because the first one is quite unique and I remember building quite a lot of it. So we'll show you that and we'll outline what the story was going to be in that first time period in the next part. Thanks for joining me there, Phil.
It was very enjoyable. I enjoyed that and listening to the various different things because yeah, it's good to bring back the memories.
Yeah, it's good, wasn't it? In that case, as the moon rises over here in the world of Minecraft and the sun sets over in that direction, we'll sign off now. So, yeah, join us for that third episode. Facebook and Twitter links in the meantime are down in the video description, along with a link to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. And if you enjoyed, a like is always appreciated. But other than that, we're signing off now. So, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Interesting, of course, it's all tea-themed, because it is the Hunter after all. Oh, new enemy! Oh, I remember these. iPods. These are a very imaginative enemy. Got that music. Kicking off a real ship. Take him down like that. Hit him on the eye. Get out of it. Yeah, you do that. Take him out like so. Memories are coming back to me, everybody. Okay, took them out. Okay, well, there's a platform in front of cupping and sourcing now. Oh god, I see a ruin. And another iPod, okay. That's lactation, you can see he's got all the milk. Oh god, there's the guy up there. Oh god, I see you down there. Take out the insidious ruin.